Hi, and welcome to OpenRose, a free requirements management application. Get more information at github.com/openrose. Today, we are going to talk about including and excluding requirements from within the baseline. To learn more about baselining, please look at baseline introduction video. Let's go to projects. And there we will be connecting to our sample project, which is Barclays Tariff for Personal Customers. And this is where we have a well-structured set of requirements. Now, baseline is nothing but a snapshot of our data. Now, before we take this snapshot of this particular project, let's have a quick look at the first requirement here, which is what's covered by the tariff. And we have a traceability to eligibility for Premier Banking. This particular requirement has a child trace, which is currently available under the second item type, which is account eligibility and fees. And there we have eligibility for Premier Banking. So please remember that there is a trace between this requirement as a child and what's covered by the tariff as its parent. Now, let's go and take the baseline for this particular project. To do the baseline or to capture the snapshot, we have to go over to the project itself and then go to the baselines. Here we have two options: baseline by the project, which will take baseline of the entire project, or baseline by item type. When I create a baseline by item type, we are taking a subset of the project data snapshot, which is association of data with a particular item type. Let's create entire project baseline snapshot. We'll give it a name as snapshot 1. You can use different naming convention for your baseline depending upon what is the purpose of that baseline, and then describe your baseline here. This description is a markdown text box, which means you can capture formatted text, including bullet points, numbers, bold, italic, headings, as well as tables and links. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on this create button, and it will create a snapshot for the entire project, which is nothing but snapshot 1, and it has given an ID for the same. Snapshots or baselines are always associated with the project, irrespective of whether they are project-based baseline or item type-based baseline. Let's go and open this snapshot, and you can see here that the snapshot icon here is different than the project icon, and then we can see the item types that are available under that particular snapshot and all the requirements that we have captured. When I go to a particular requirement, then you will notice that I do not have option to modify this requirement. It's only in a read-only form because it is a snapshot from the project itself. The only thing I can do is I can include or exclude the requirement inside the baseline. Let's go to account type, and because it is an individual single requirement which do not have any child requirements below it, it's just sitting at the account eligibility and fees item type. If I exclude this, then we are very clearly indicating that now, for whatever given reason, the project has decided that in the first snapshot or iteration, we are not going to deliver account type. It's as simple as just clicking on that include or exclude option to remove that particular requirement. Now go back to if you have an older account which has got 4 children below it, and now if I exclude the parent, then it will exclude all the children's. When I go to the child, I cannot include it back into the project unless I include the parent requirement first. When I include the parent requirement, I have two options. I can only include a single parent requirement by clicking on is included option, or I can include all child requirements which are part of this baselines requirements breakdown structure. Let me include only one parent requirement here, and because of that we can see that the icon here has changed and it is now included in the baseline, but 4 children are not included at this stage. What I can now do is I can go back to this fee information document and then include that specific child in the snapshot. So this is now possible because its immediate parent is included. That's why I can include child as well. Or the other option is to again exclude everything and then click on this option to include everything back on. We can play and we can work our way around how we want to use these options of inclusion and exclusion. Now, as you can see, the parent and one of the child is included, and when I click on include all items, it will include everything into the snapshot. So that's how you can decide inclusion and exclusion of data within the snapshot. You might remember that we started this discussion with the traceability. So we go back to that particular requirement and we can see that there's a trace data available. The traceability is to one of the item, which is nothing but eligibility for premier banking as a child trace. Now, if I exclude the parent, then automatically the trace for that particular requirement will be excluded, irrespective of whether they are parent traces or child traces. So let me exclude that requirement. In the traceability now, you will not see that particular trace because the item or the requirement is excluded from the baseline. And if I go to eligibility for premier banking and go up to the traceability, there also I will not see trace back to what's covered by tariff. The purpose of excluding traceability for excluded items or requirements is to make sure that we de-scope and reduce the scope of snapshot itself, because we are not going to deliver or we are not going to work upon that particular requirement. If I go back in to the main requirement and then include it back, we should be able to now see the traceability that my parent is what's covered by the tariff requirement. I can show the same information from this side as well. So if I exclude the child traceability item, then I will not see any parent traces. And if I go to the parent itself, then I will not see any child traces. So remember that exclusion of requirements from within the snapshot will also exclude the traceability. One more very important information that we would like to share here is that the design of OpenRose is such that snapshots are data at a particular point in time from the original project or from original item type. Now, because we have taken the snapshot and we have marked this as read only, we felt that it was not necessary to show all the change history for all the requirements. That will be a little bit of additional data that we may have to capture from the original requirements from the project itself. But we thought because the information is already available in the project and because the snapshot is supposed to be a snapshot of read-only data from the project, we decided not to include change log in your requirements here. What I mean by that is if I go back to the project and look at any of the item here, if that item has changed, then in the change log you will see the information about the same. This change history or the change log is actually not available inside baselining, as well as the delete item is also not available for baselining. Instead of delete item, you can include an exclude requirement from the baseline snapshot. So with that, I would like to conclude this video and say thank you to you for attending, and please take care and have a great day. Bye bye.